Welcome! Today we're looking at the Ozito Impact Driver. This comes in a set with the Ozito Impact Driver, 18 volts, and in the set it also comes with the drill. This is a 18 volt 2.5 amp hour battery. It's very compact. You can see it's very lightweight. It's small, but it's more than powerful enough for those handyman jobs, especially on the road. It's really good. It packs away small. It's not very heavy, but it's quite robust. It's got an impact driver, 2.5 amp hour battery in the set. And it comes with a drill, but the drill, I'll do a review on that later. So please subscribe and like so I can produce more of these to help you. Now you've probably seen one of these before. Your mechanic uses them. Air power tools, very heavy, very robust, removes these difficult to get off wheel nuts quite easily. So it's the same impact wrench technology and removes stuck on, hard to remove bolts quite easily. But look at the size of it. It's solid metal, it's heavy, you need an air compressor, you need hoses. It's not very portable. Can we get this sort of convenience and power? Something that can remove these nuts as easily as you're on the road? Let's have a look and find out. Let me just put this wheel nut back on so we can get going. Now, one of the things you've got to be sure of is the wheel nuts done up? Normally, you'd use something like this. We've all used these before. Great for scraping your knuckles on the side of the road. I recommend if you're going to go with a manual, at least use one of these cross type ones. They can much easier. So here you can see how it's very easy for me to spin the nut, get it done up very, very easy. Also, another great tip and a tool that I'll be using later on is my torque wrench. This is the cheapest torque wrench I could find, and I'll talk about this a little bit later in this video, but I've got a special video on this alone, but it's a great peace of mind tool to travel with. So let's have a look here quickly here. So this nut, I took off, so let me just tighten up by hand again. Super easy one of these. So have these easy to spin, easy to put some power on and hold it steady. But you can never be sure if you've got it up tight enough. So many accidents happen where they haven't been up tight enough. You're hundreds of kilometers away from nearest town, traveling along. So this is where the torque wrench, video to come later on, check the links below. So it's quite simple. It has the measurements on the actual torque wrench itself. This has been set to the manufacturer's standards. You can see here as I move it up, you hear that click, very, very loud click. That says I've reached the manufacturer's suggested tightness. Now, also the other tool I've got is my socket set here. These are impact resistant socket sets. Now, over time, you can break normal sockets, but at the end of the day, if you've got to get a wheel off or a nut off at one time, a normal socket will be fine. You need a driver. So that's one of these adapters that allows you to fit any socket, so you can put any socket in your drill or your impact driver. Super handy. I'll show you some of that later. So let's just have the drill out of the way for the moment and have a look at our impact driver. It's got a different way of holding the nut so it does not fall out. Very, very handy there. So this is a normal socket. Well, that's an impact socket. We'll put it on there. And now I'll remove that one. So you saw me tighten that up to the manufacturer's recommended torque settings, so we know it's as tight as it should be and quite easily comes off. So that's as easy as to get one off. Now this car, it's a bit hard to see, but the jack is behind the wheel just so the weight is taken off the wheel, but this wheel is resting on the road. Let's just check though.
So that one,
Hear the clicks,
that one.
just to make sure these are all tight. So I've checked all the right tightness so that we're not taking off pre-loosened nuts. You know that these are as you'd find them on the side of the road. Takes a bit of going, get a bit worried, hey, is anything going to happen? Let the gun do its work. You can hear the noise in the background. And there it goes. Now obviously I'm in my garage, so I'm just dropping these on the floor while they're quite handy. But always have something to put the wheel nuts in. Nothing worse than crawling around on the outside trying to find them. I won't loosen the back one off even though I've got this up on a jack. It's not a jack, taking the weight, but I don't want to have to take the wheel off and relocate it. You can see there, it hasn't even used 1 bar of the health of the battery. So I've taken off one wheel easily. I can now reset it to be tightening, but the big tip here is always start your nuts by hand. If you cross thread them, this has enough power to drive those on and really cause damage. So you want to spin those nuts, make sure they're spinning freely. So just put them on carefully, make sure they're turning really nice and easily, they're free, there's no dirt and there's no cross threading going on. We'll get all of the 6 nuts on, and then we can tighten them up. Tighten them straight down, obviously working opposites around the wheel as you'd normally do. So that's all 6 of those wheel nuts done up and undone quite easily. Hasn't even used 1 bar of the thing. I could go around and do all 4 wheels if I wanted to. More than enough power in this setup. Let's have a look here. You can see that about 15 degrees is required. Oh, there's the click. And we're just going around, tighten them up to manufacturer's specifications. Check your user manual. It will specify what the wheel nuts, the lug nuts should be done. I've got a review on this tool, why it's so important, your peace of mind.
With a camp trailer or a caravan, there's so many uses of this. As I said earlier, I have a set of impact drivers or impact sockets. And this one I've got my 19mm, which fits perfectly in my stabilizer. I can lower it down and lift it up. 2 seconds of noise, very simple though. Makes it easy, especially when you have those times where it settles down a bit or you got it a little bit higher, a little bit harder to get to. As you can see, very easy to get in there, not much room needed.